February 26, 1995. The news hit the world like a thunderstorm. Barings Bank collapses. The oldest merchant bank in Britain, gone. This was a bank that had survived wars, recessions, even the Napoleonic era. For over 2 centuries, Barings stood as a symbol of British power and prestige. And yet in just a few days, one man, a single trader, destroyed it all. Behind the collapse stood a name that would soon be infamous across the world, Nick Leeson. The world called him the rogue trader. But who was he really? A criminal? A genius? Or just a young man who made one mistake that spiraled completely out of control? And how did he do it? To find out, we have to go back to where it all began. It's 1992. Nick Leeson is 25 years old, a bright working-class kid from Watford, England. No fancy degree, no connections, just hustle and ambition. After years of grinding in back-office jobs, Nick finally lands his big break at Barings Bank, one of the most respected financial institutions in the world. They send him to Singapore to help manage operations at the Singapore International Monetary Exchange. For Nick, it's a dream come true, a chance to prove himself, to show that someone from an ordinary background can stand shoulder to shoulder with the elite of London's finance world. But Barings made a critical mistake. They gave Nick too much power. He was both the head trader, the one who places trades, and the head of settlement, the one who checks those trades. Basically, he was checking his own work, something no bank should ever allow. In the world of finance, that's a deadly combination. It's like letting the same person place the bets and verify the results. A small oversight, but it would change everything. At first, things go smoothly. Nick's team makes consistent profits trading futures between the Singapore and Tokyo markets. His bosses are impressed. The young Brit seems unstoppable. But one day, a junior trader makes a small error. A trade goes wrong, and a few £1,000s are lost. Nick, wanting to protect his team and his reputation, moves the loss into a separate error account. What started as a way to hide a small mistake soon becomes a tool to hide losses. And once Nick starts using it, he can't stop. Over the next months, Nick uses this account to bury failed trades, always promising himself he'll fix it later. But every time he tries to win back the money, he loses even more. When one trade failed, he placed another, double the size. If that failed, he doubled again. It was no longer trading, it was gambling. Back in London, Barings executives see record profits rolling in. They call Nick a star trader. They celebrate him, promote him, reward him. No one knows the truth. The profits are lies. And the hole beneath him is getting deeper by the day. By 1994, Nick's hidden losses have exploded to over £200 million. But still, no one checks. No audits, no oversight, just blind trust. Then came January 17th, 1995, the day that changed everything. The Kobe earthquake devastates Japan. Markets spiral. The Japanese stock market crashed. Nick bets that Japan's market will bounce back, but it doesn't. When it fell, his losses exploded. In a few days, he lost hundreds of millions of dollars. He could have admitted the truth then, but instead he doubled down again, hoping the market would recover. He believed one big win could fix everything, but the market didn't recover, and the losses reached unimaginable levels. In a few days, £827 million was lost. That is twice the bank's total capital. By February 1995, Nick's secret account had losses of over $1.3 billion. Still, nobody in London understood what was going on. They kept sending him more funds, thinking he was making profits. But the truth couldn't stay hidden forever. When auditors started asking questions, Nick panicked. He left a simple note on his desk that said, "I am sorry." Then he fled Singapore. He and his wife flew to Malaysia, then to Thailand. He tried to disappear, but the world was already searching for him. The media called him the man who broke the bank. Interpol was on his trail. Finally, in February 1995, he was caught at an airport in Frankfurt, Germany. His passport gave him away. He was arrested and later extradited back to Singapore, the place where it all began. In 1996, Nick was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Life inside was harsh. He was locked in a small cell with little food and rough conditions. Then came another blow. He was diagnosed with colon cancer while in prison, but this became a turning point. He began to reflect on everything he had done, the lies, the greed, the pressure. He read books, studied psychology, and started writing. That's when he wrote his autobiography, Rogue Trader, which becomes a movie, starring Ewan McGregor. It told the full story of how one man's mistakes destroyed a 233-year-old bank. In the end, Barings Bank was gone. It was sold to ING Bank for just £1. Thousands of employees lost their jobs. London was in shock. The collapse changed global finance forever. Banks around the world introduced stricter controls. They created new systems to separate trading from accounting, so one person could never control both again. Nick Leeson was released early from prison in 1999 after serving 4 years. He survived cancer, and his wife had divorced him, but he slowly rebuilt his life. He moved to Ireland, remarried, and started speaking publicly about his experience. He became a motivational speaker, teaching companies about risk, failure, and human weakness. He often says, "I wasn't evil. I was just young, proud, and too afraid to fail." So what does this story teach us? It's about ego, fear, and a system that trusted too much. Nick Leeson was not the only one at fault. Barings management ignored warning signs for years. They believed in success without understanding the risks. In the end, Nick didn't just break a bank. He exposed a weakness that existed across the entire financial world. And for that reason, even decades later, his story still matters. If you find this video interesting, make sure to subscribe, where we will be uncovering more stories like this. Until then, stay safe.